was back and forth with me last night. Man, he just got so much going on there at Hueytown Pond. Look, there's a lot of stuff around that story in addition to the gun shop, but really, he's on the show to talk to y'all about his gun business. And again, they started and had been known for years. This is why he kept the name as a big, nice pawn shop over there in Hueytown. But in that business, sometimes you'll take in more and more firearms that people bring in. I've seen people that have pawn businesses that turn into guitar stores. Well, in Tommy's case, they turned into a full-fledged gun counter, and they've got a little bit of everything for the collector out there or somebody that's just needing their first gun and you don't want to spend too much money on it. One, they do have pre-owned stuff. Two, they get deals on batches of guns from manufacturers sometimes, and then of course these law enforcement Glocks that we've been talking about for a little while. And so he's got a few of those left. He has sound suppressors. I didn't even know you could get a sound suppressor for this price, but these are names you're going to know. They've got some deals on those down as low as $298 if you want to add that to whatever you're shooting nowadays. Go get to know Tommy and all of them. Adam, all those guys over there. They're good folks, and I like doing business with good people. And then you'll have a resource. It's a place you can go from time to time, do a little trading, do a little adding to the collection. Hueytown Pond, Brook Lane Drive, Hueytown Pond. I was getting ready to go into this. We had some great calls today, too, with some really good questions. I was getting ready to go into this story about all these scientists surrounding the UFO program mysteriously dying and disappearing. I had blown that story off till it started getting more and more traction. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But Trump just made a huge headline splash that could affect the markets on their close on a Friday. He did this whole news conference today and pretty much just kept the hammer down, kept talking about how the Iranians were already beat, and they are. Military, they're defeated. I'll say it again. I don't know. The administration is not going to couch it this way, but functionally, what we're in right now is the negotiation over their surrender. That always happens in big wars. That happens. We negotiated with the Japanese. We negotiated with the Europeans. All the allies did. Even the Civil War, there was the Appomattox Courthouse where they had to negotiate. Okay, this is it. The hostilities are over. One side's been defeated. It's not instant like that. And so here we are at a chapter like that where the Iranians have no leverage except for their threat on the strait, and that becomes more hollow by the day as the world community gets its act together. Let me just back up for a minute. What they calculated, the Iranians, in this Strait of Hormuz chokehold, and I spent a good portion of the last hour discussing the dynamics there. I mean, as soon as I got done with my little lecture, Trump does this, which is great. But what they calculated is that the world is cowardly and would hyperreact to an oil shock. And they wanted to drive oil maybe to $200 a barrel, shock the world, disrupt the whole world. And then the pressure on Trump and or other Western leaders would be too great to maintain the war. They miscalculated because then they started shooting at their neighbors. Their neighbors got in the game. And you know what the best thing they did, the Arab states did? It wasn't just scrambling their military or shooting back at the Iranians and joining the fight, so to speak. It was start pumping oil. So then the Iranians started hitting their oil infrastructure. Trump had already made his chess move by getting rid of Maduro and securing the Venezuelan oil, seizing the tankers. See, we didn't know what was going on when that happened. We thought we were just freeing Venezuela. It was part of a bigger picture of securing our resources in this hemisphere. Remember when he was cutting deals with Qatar? People couldn't understand it. They wanted to give us a free plane, and we were striking up new alliances in the region. Y'all see it now, don't you? And now Qatar has been hit. They would be the easiest country in the world to defend the Iranians. They're not defending them. They're going, nope, we're sticking to our trade deal with Trump, and we're pumping more oil. We're going to pump all the oil we can pump. The Saudis, and the Saudis hate the Iranians, but the Saudis fired up their pipeline that they built back in the 70s and 80s that goes to the Red Sea. They've been trying to get oil out that way, and you didn't have an oil shock, y'all, at best. I'm trying to put a little reality on this situation. If you get online and just chase that stuff, it's designed to amp you up and keep reinforcing negative messages because That's how you get addicted to the internet. Just know you're being played. We all got to do a better job of not letting that stuff hype us up. I get calls here from young people from time to time that have completely spun out from some conspiracy theory on the internet that keeps getting reinforced. Because if you click on it, it's going to feed it to you 5 more ways from different sources. It's the same lie. A lie told 5 times is still a lie. And we're getting a lot of that nowadays. It's a junky, cloudy information environment. So let's try to clear some air. At most, we got to $120 a barrel, I think, for a whole day. It might have been for 2 days. And then it started coming right back down. We've been floating around 100, and nobody wants to see 100. That's a psychological barrier for the markets. So the markets retreated, and they're hanging on too. They dropped down to 46,000, and they've been hanging out right there for about a week or two. Oil's been hanging around 100. The Iranians didn't get the shock spike they needed. We had an increase, but it's a percentage. It's a livable increase that most people. I had to fill up today, and it was probably another $20-$25 over what I would have paid before this started. I'm good with that. I mean, if somebody asked me to write a check for $25 to the military for all the work they did, I'd do it. I'd do it in a minute. I'd send it to some TSA workers for what they're having to put up with. But anyway, so the Iranians didn't get that. And then when they started firing at their neighbors' infrastructure, remember what they started doing? They started hitting oil refineries. They were trying to cripple the world because it's all they had left was this 47-year plan to strangle the planet at the jugular of the world that they control by geography when they can't fire missiles at anybody, when their military is wiped out, when their leadership is gone. This is the flailing of a wounded animal that's been shot in the woods that needs to be finished off. So Trump's at the table with them. He timed it pretty well. He waited till they were defenseless on the ground, and we've got superiority in the air, and they got no cards but the threat of the strait. So now they're at the table because the people that are left, they don't want to be executed by the people in their country, and maybe they want exile. We don't even know who they are because so many of the known leaders are all dead. So even determining who we were talking to and whether they were sincere was a big thing. We found out today one of the things they did to earn the trust of the Trump administration was to allow 8 tankers to go through the strait and remove their threat from those tankers. Maybe they were ours. I'm not sure what that was. It was what Trump was referring to with this gift. And now today, this was the whole headline that I've been delaying for 10 minutes. Trump just put out a public statement that said they're going to pause hitting any of the infrastructure, which is what we're threatening now, is that we take out their main power plant or even more of Karg Island. And then the people in Iran suffer. And then they don't have the power to fight back against these a-holes that have been brutalizing them for all these years. Trump's trying to strike that. The Defense Department and the State Department and others are trying to strike a balancing act between separating the regime from those people without further hurting the people. The quickest thing for the free people of Iran to do to be able to rise up is to rebuild their economy, get oil flowing, participate in that, become rich again, and rebuild their infrastructure. So far, we went after the oil machine. Israel has gone after the targets, the personnel targets, and all that has worked. Now we're trying to figure out how to negotiate their surrender. And so this afternoon, Trump says we're not going to hit he's specific here, any electrical infrastructure for 10 days. That's a 10-day pause on the threat that will take out their power supply. And why would he do it that way? Because we still need the ability to hit the missile silos. If our Apaches and the A-10s are flying along the coast, along the Persian Gulf, they got to be able to hit those swift boats, those patrol boats and those fast boats and the drones. If the rogue elements of this regime keep launching that stuff, we're still going to shoot that. That's more of the security apparatus. We're in a security situation now. We're not even in a war. The war is over. We already won it. So, but we got to maintain not the peace, but you got to maintain your position. And that's slap anything that pops up. Any little barking chihuahua that pops up, we got to deal with it. But we'll leave the infrastructure alone because they're at the table. And I promise you, if you've ever read Trump's books and watched how he negotiates, some people just want to believe the hype about the man and not really think about what made him a businessman that became a billionaire. What did that was his negotiation style, which he believes so much, and he wrote 3 or 4 books about it. And in that, you never show your weak hand. You always come in with your hardest line, and you give and take to get the other side to the middle, and they've got to throw something on the table. But then you got to respond in good faith. And this, I think, is the response to something the Iranians have told our back channel that the rest of the world doesn't know about yet. And Rubio may have hinted at it, saying that the strait would open tomorrow. And so the back and forth is slowly starting to take shape, and that's nothing but positive in these negotiations. So we'll see. As far as every now and then you'll see some Iranian general get on TV with a uniform and make these bold statements. Y'all, that's some side PR stuff. That guy's in a bunker down in a hole trying to talk tough to keep the people in his country from running out of their apartments and houses and shooting back. Those folks are still in hiding. That's at our request. We don't need a bloodbath in the streets right now in civil war. If we can take care of the threat against them, it'll be a peaceful process for the people that still live there. And that's what we want. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You got to know when to punch and when to talk. And I think we're doing both tracks right now. That's the strongest position you could ever be in. When you've got the strong hand, but you can also extend the olive branch. A little at a time, build that trust, get the deal, and move on. No other president in my lifetime, and maybe in our country's history, maybe other than Teddy Roosevelt, would have the moxie to negotiate this way from that position of strength with that kind of hubris and bravado and backing it up. What's the old saying? It ain't bragging if you can back it up. I told y'all how it went down today in the cabinet meeting when Witkoff said they walked into the negotiations before we started shooting around March 1st and told us that they would never surrender their uranium. They had enough to build 11 bombs and that we weren't man enough to take it, basically. They said we'd never give up something in negotiations that you couldn't take from us with your military. I mean, they thought Fordham was it. They thought that was Trump's big move. And they had enough left to try to pound their chest when they walked in the room. I think Trump immediately said, okay, let's take the rest of it out. And we just did. And we saved the world. The world map will be different when we're done. Possibility of cheap energy and freedom in that region is within a whisper for the rest of the planet right now because we did the hard stuff. We did the stuff the damn Europeans couldn't do and wouldn't do. You got to have the might and you got to have the resolve. And we've got both right now. And I'd rather have that. I'd rather be on this side of the equation. This is like Reagan on steroids. Peace through strength that works. Hey, that works at home. That works in your whole life. Good stuff, man. I'm liking that story. We'll get to some of this other stuff in a minute. Southern Skies Dermatology. Let's talk. I'm gonna be doing. Man, I'll probably be outside all weekend, and I've got to watch it because I'll get out there with all my warnings and everything I talked to you about. I'll still overdo it too. I'll forget to wear the hat or forget to. I hate sunscreen, man. I hate putting that stuff on. I hate it. It feels slimy, but it's important. And doing these things, but along that piece of advice too, it's not just the sunscreen, it's the screenings. It's going to the doctor to see where you stand. If you've never been, you need to go. I don't care how old you are, what your history is. From there, they'll assess all that, your age, your likelihood of this or that. They'll give you a full exam, talk about your family history, and then give you some advice on how often you need to come back. Some of you won't need an immediate concern. I get checked every year just because of all those markers that are in my family and in my own personal history of just damaging myself. Y'all, let's take care of ourselves. Somebody loves you enough to want you to go. And if there is somebody like that in your life, take them with you. And everybody get checked and do that screening. Do all your cancer screenings when you get a chance. Y'all go do the colorectal checks, go do the prostate checks, do the breast exams, and do the skin cancer screenings. The place to go is southernskiesdermatology.com. Go see Dr. Mario and get well taken care of with the Mohs procedure. southernskiesdermatology.com. All right, y'all, 422, Leland Live Work Trucks bringing you the show tonight. I was following one of their trucks today. They'll leave their sticker on there like some dealerships do, and this is a tool body truck. I was on I-65, went, there goes the work truck. Sometimes I like spotting them. Talk about them every single day. This is a great place to keep your business moving, keep your overhead down, and take some stress out of your life. It's hard enough running a business nowadays and all the contingencies. And the one thing I've learned is distraction in business can lead to inefficiency. And I'm serious about this. Sitting around worrying about trying to find a truck for your fleet or start a fleet or to get that part of your business worked out can just consume you. Doing all the research, tracking down, especially if you're looking in the pre-owned market. You'd have to drive around all over the place try to find these. It's a unique type vehicle. They're not on every corner. Work Trucks has gone to the trouble to bring the best of these vehicles to the city of Birmingham and put them on their lot. And they don't just go get them and find the best and the low miles and stick them out there. They go through them, 125 points. So they've done a lot of vetting that, again, I wouldn't even know how to check 125 points. There's probably about 20 points I know I'd be looking at. I don't know where they come up with that, but they do, and it's thorough, and that gives you peace of mind. They back them with warranties if you need that, financing if you need that. They'll take your trade in if you need that. It is a turnkey place to do business. Downtown Birmingham. Go see Bubba and the team. Let them get you outfitted with a box truck or van or tool body truck, service truck, anything you need. Shop truck, Work Trucks, TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Man, do we have stuff in the news today? Let me sneak this one in. And yesterday I was getting on all the kids at spring break down on the beaches. Mm-hmm. It's my people's turn now, AJ. This is the redneckest thing I've ever heard of.
Uh-oh.
But also a tragedy. This dumbass was up on the roof of a Jeep. I believe this was in Port Arkansas, Texas, somewhere on the beach down there. And
he was Port Arthur.
I thought it was Port Arthur, but no, Port Aransas. Yeah, you know Port Aransas. Mm-hmm. I read it wrong. Port Aransas, Texas, on Highway 361. He crawls up on the roof of the Jeep. It's going down the road and twerks. They said he was naked, but it looks like he just got his shirt off. Like, hey, man, what's this? Well, he fell off and died. And there's video of it. Y'all don't watch the internet or you'll see it. Only 22 years old. His name was Michael Brown. Spring breaking. What a dumbass.
Hey.
Alcohol may have been involved.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the actual video, but I'm just looking at this headline. But yeah. Twerking.
Yeah, did you see the video of him up on the top of the thing? The video.
Can you just imagine? I mean, I'm not trying to, but anyway, he's at the pearly gates, and obviously,
sure, yeah.
You think he's still twerking, and then
no, it's over by then.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for his family. They got to be hurting their 22-year-old's dead, but now they got to explain why.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to be funny. You got the embarrassing story. Well, he got up on top of a Jeep. And then their friends have to just stare at him and try not to make an expression. Hey, y'all, talk to your kids even if they're 22. They're not grown. The male brain does not fully develop until 25. Just a little pro tip to the parents of sons. They are idiots for a long time. And then they get married, and the wives have that job of working it out.
Mm-hmm. And just a little message as well, too. Twerking and driving does not mix.
Not at all. Did you hear that? Exactly. Did you hear that story the other day about I still don't even understand how this works. I feel like an underachiever. This cornhole player with no arms and no legs.
I told this story on Breaking Bread.
Did y'all talk about this?
Yeah.
Dude has no arms and no legs, and he's charged with murder for shooting somebody while driving a car.
While driving a vehicle. Now this guy
can't even text and drive.
Yeah, this guy is it's a cornhole professional. Like, he's been on ESPN and all this other stuff.
If his name's Bob, I'm giving up for the day.
It's Dayton. I can't think of his name. Dayton something. Well, it's 3 names, so obviously it's not my people. But
yeah, of course, it's like Dayton Wayne, Dayton Mark.
Yes, Mark. But he is a quadric amputee, so does have all 4 limbs are gone, just nubs. Now there is video of him shooting a gun, But obviously, he's not driving and shooting at the same time. He's just outside shooting the gun.
But in this case, he wasn't he driving the car when he killed
was driving. He was allegedly driving a car. 3 other people were in the vehicle with him. He shoots the passenger. He asks the 2 folks behind in the back seat, said, "Hey, can you help me dispose of this body?"
Yeah, that'd be harder than driving a car and shooting somebody.
Right.
Oh, wow.
They get out of the car and say, "Oh no!" Like he didn't try to hold a gun.
And I guess they couldn't
him.
disarm him. He was already disarmed. All right, just keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Then he ends up disposing the body in front, and he just drops the body in the yard. He just
How
I don't
do
know.
you even do that?
I guess he stops the car, rolls out the car, rolls to the other side of the vehicle, opens
Are
up
you
the car,
serious?
drags his
Grabs
guy
him with
out,
his teeth?
and then just leaves him.
He could just
in
open
the
the door and
yard.
go around a curve real big.
But how do you go open up the door?
I don't know, man. None of this makes sense. I just feel like I'm not trying hard enough.
I mean, I want to know what they were arguing about. I just want to know, how serious was it? And then, okay, so.
Here's what they're arguing about. They're going down the road. He said, "Man, you're driving too slow. Step on it." He's like, "That's not funny, man." "Oh, come on, man. You know that was funny. I told you not to make those jokes again." Blam. You know, I covered a story. You remember this? There was a bank robbery down in Columbus, Georgia when I was second time I've talked about bank robberies. And this gang, these gangs were teaching each other how to do this takedown of a bank. So different guys kept doing the same thing at these banks. So there's 4 different guys in each team. But the way they finally got caught was one of them recruited. The getaway driver had no legs. And the way he was pushing the gas was he had a 2x4 with a shoe nailed on it. I'm not making this up. And he pushed the gas with his hand and pushed the brake with his hand. And they came running out of the bank and said, "Hit it." And he goes, "Pfft." And the cops pulled him over. This dude was sitting there with a 2x4. That's the guy. I guess he wasn't going to run in there and run out, so they let him drive the car. True story. That is a true story. I also want you to go get your teeth checked. Here's my daily reminder to go hit the dentist, not just any dentist, hit Alabama Dental, alabamadental.com, Alabama Dental Associates. That's Dr. Brian's practice. And I start mentioning everybody, I'm going to leave somebody out, but they're four wonderful dentists, highly skilled specialists, all with different areas of expertise in that practice that can handle any weird thing you come up in there with all the technology to help you as well, and a wonderful team around them of hygienists and people that take care of you when you're in and out there. Like I talk about with Dr. Michelson sometime too, they're so good with your time. This is not one of those things where you're just going to go sit in the lobby and wait on your appointment. And then that's just not how to run an efficient operation. And so reach out to them and get an appointment, and they'll have you in and out of there, man. They take care of folks and get them all cleaned up, make sure you're good to go. And or if you're dealing with some pain or something chronic, man, it's good to have all those specialists and the hours, the latest 7 o'clock at night hours, the Saturday hours. Who ever heard of such a thing? Come on now. It's alabamadental.com, alabamadental.com. Y'all go see Dr. Brian and the team and take care of business. All right, let's go to Dan. We'll get some phone calls. I got to get to this mystery story about all these scientists that are suddenly dying and going missing. It's starting to look like a pattern. I don't know if it's legit, but I keep seeing the story. We'll talk about it. Dan is in Birmingham. What's up, Dan?
Hey, not much, Leland. I have a few hypothetical scenarios, just real quick, that always replay in my mind, and I just wonder why they haven't ever been done. So they all pertain to money. I feel like if everybody did a controlled bank run, it would really take the power from the Federal Reserve, or not necessarily the Federal Reserve, but from a lot of the financial institutions, and operate in cash. And then the second scenario is if everybody takes $20 a week and buys a little cryptocurrency, that will literally transfer a Federal Reserve note into something tangible if you could trade it with something tangible. And the third thing is Christmas, everybody blows a lot of money in Christmas and mostly on Chinese goods. So why doesn't everybody spend 20% of what they usually do, and why doesn't everybody just invest in America? So those are the kind of three hypothetical things that I think that people actually have the power for. So I just don't know why those things haven't ever been done.
Man, the main reason, I'll tell you exactly why they have never been done, because most of the people on the internet today are debating whether J-Lo should have done her striptease act at 59 years old. That's where people's minds are right now. I wish, Dan, you and I could get everybody to focus and we'd all get together and join hands like Dr. King asked us to do and sing the spiritual and get over our differences and stick it to the government. But most people are just goofing off in the corners of the internet, have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but those three things would work though. Absolutely, it would just drain everybody of their power, at least in the high money thing. So
it would work.
Real quick, if we could touch on a third base, just something real quick.
Sure.
There's a lot of private equity companies that are buying up air conditioner companies right now that are squeezing homeowners for a lot of money. So just keep in mind who you're dealing with your air conditioner, to make sure they're not these private equity companies.
Look, corporate America just gets they do that in a lot of areas. It's kind of what ruined it's ruining some of radio right now, the way when they try to put monopolies out, limit competition, and then squeeze to the middle. I was reading a story about, I don't know much about the air conditioning industry, but I do know that John Deere does that to the farmers in their big equipment. They won't let them work on their own equipment. And Trump, I think, is about to put something out about that. It's called a right to repair order.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that yet, but some reason you reminded me of that. And I know some of y'all are green tractor folks, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just saying, as a company, they do some sketchy stuff because they do, massive stuff. I'm not talking about little tractors like the rest of us use, but these big, giant farm machinery systems. They've got a lot of our big farmers by the Kiwis with the way their programs work, and it just shouldn't be that way. Competition always is better.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It's been that way for about 10 or 15 years with John Deere. My father was a commercial farmer.
Yeah.
Look at the 30 to 40-year-old tractor market where these real big tractors are selling for $300,000 or $400,000 because they're easily repaired. It's a crime. And then also all our cars are like that too. That's why I got out of mechanic work, because cars are being locked down by the manufacturer that you either have to buy their, $13,000 computer to fix it, or you just, you
Or
can't
you
fix
can't diagnose it.
basically.
Yeah, that's true. Good
Yeah.
stuff, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dan.
Cash for clunkers, terrible. Cash for clunkers, worst thing
Oh
ever
yeah, I
happened to
forgot about that.
America.
Who did that? Was that Obama or Biden that did cash for clunkers? That
It was
such a
it was
stupid.
Obama
It was
that
like gun
took away
buybacks.
it was terrible. Took away great used cars for people, easily fixed. I mean, they just paid cash and just destroyed our secondhand car market.
Yep, no doubt. Thanks, Dan.
All right.
I remember. You remember gun buybacks, AJ? When all these high-minded people said, "We're going to take guns off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to offer cash for guns." I was a young reporter. I had a little TV camera. I went down to the courthouse where people walk up with guns, and they promised them, I think, $200 or something crazy. They were bringing in taped up 38 specials from the 1940s that didn't even have handles on them, like just total junk guns, rusty ass guns that they found underneath the bed somewhere, and getting money. And it was completely worse. These weren't the guns that were on the streets harming people. It wasn't guns anyway. And then they quit doing the program because the program was being made a joke. And then they came up with some standards and came up with a list of guns they wanted, particularly the left they hate Glocks. So they were buying all these Glocks. So what did they do? They just went and stole some Glocks. You go steal some Glocks and get the money, get the free money. And then the people that got their Glock stolen just went and bought another Glock. It was really good for the Glock industry to have a new market with government stupidity. We come up with good ideas sometimes that I think feel good, but they just don't work. It's not going to work. Cash for clunkers, I forgot about that.
Oh,
What was supposed to be the deal with that? That old cars are inefficient, and we're going to take them off the road. So we'll pay you for your car.
I think the whole idea was just to kind of spark up the car buying business because people weren't buying cars at that time; they were keeping their old models.
And then they wanted us to drive EVs that nobody could afford at the same time.
Yeah,
They wanted people to sell their gas car and buy EVs, didn't they? Wasn't that the deal? I don't know. It didn't work. That's all I'm saying. Now, one other thing I wish the Trump administration would get to is this start-stop on the new cars where it goes off at the red light. That's the dumbest. That is one of the
the auto start. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It takes more energy to restart the car than it does to leave it running because it only turns off for about 30 seconds. I mean, so it's continuously having to ramp up its engine cycle and suck all that extra gas in to get running. It's like we were talking about the E85 the other day, and the guy called in. I had to cut him off because we were getting a break. You put that stuff in, and your mileage goes down. You're actually burning more fuel putting the alcohol through your car. Can they just leave well enough alone? I want clean clothes, a good hot shower, a gas can that works. I get on this rant all the time. Light bulbs. I read a study the other day. Not trying to trip y'all out because I'm surrounded by LEDs right now that I actually installed in the studio, and LEDs are everywhere. And they look good. It's better than those compact fluorescent blue-green bulbs that we all had to live with for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That if you drop one, you had to call hazmat. You remember that? What do they call them? CFLs or whatever they called them. And I just said they always made everything look like an Alfred Hitchcock set. And there's a couple of those. I got a couple of floodlights that are like that. Were on the house when I bought it years ago, and they're still working, but got to get my sorry stuff up there and replace them. But LEDs came along. They eventually became cheaper, and you can adjust the color, and I think they're cool. But I read a study that long-wave lights are better for your brain development and your emotional well-being than LEDs are short-wave lights. Gosh, how do I explain this in English? The way I understand it. They actually sending you little tiny waves of light that kind of your mind sees as one light wave, I guess, right? But it's a bunch of little waves. And that stresses people out. It raises certain hormonal levels in your body that you don't get from the old incandescent bulbs and regular old sunshine. So I don't know if all that's true, but it says driving people crazy. Just think of that. You got a house full of LEDs and you're on X all day. Y'all are looking on TikTok and on your little fetish sites. No wonder y'all all feel so stressed out.
Yeah.
Get outside, get some sunshine, turn that crap off. I'm telling you, old man advice from the show today. Ox Foundation Solutions, here's some more advice. These are the folks that if you need to have somebody go underneath there and look around, that's who you want to go underneath there. They're the pros at all the services. And I can't overemphasize this because the problems become connected. You got some companies that do water removal, some companies that do leveling, some companies that do encapsulation or just mold removal. They do all of it because all of it's connected. One can lead to the other because it's all underneath there. Let them come take a look and get you completely dried out, completely mold free, and encapsulated and level. And your house will feel better. It'll smell better. You'll know you've taken care of it. If you've got mold in your house, and we'll be emphasizing the mold message more as the humidity comes back, that's when you can really tell it. You got a sick house. I mean, you're talking about spores and allergens. They're getting into your ventilation system, coming up through underneath your house. Man, take care of that. Get the mold out, encapsulate, and put that barrier underneath there and breathe free again with our good friends at Ox Foundation Solutions. They are the best in the business. Oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. All right, it's 4:51 Leland Live, Axiom Tax Resolution Group. Next up, boy, we're in the thick of it, aren't we? How many days we got left? Maybe 19 days before the filing deadline. If you're still making calculations, you're about to get hit with a whopper of a tax bill. You have no idea how you're going to pay it. Believe it or not, there are programs to let you settle that debt, and it's better to figure that out before you file, or at least in that realm. Maybe you need an extension or some more time, but Perry Cronin over at Axiom Tax Resolution Group already knows the answers. He's seen it all. Now, mostly what he deals with are people that come in with tax problems from previous years, and maybe you got that compounded. It's previous debt, and then here comes another bill. It's just our government. Look at them. They're all shut down, causing misery everywhere, and they're going to knock on your door and want their money. Let Perry help. There are laws to make them stop harassing you and to let you settle in some cases for less than you owe, or get a payback plan and get this behind you, get this done. It is Axiom Tax Resolution Group. Let me just say this. You'll see a lot of professional firms with big, nice TV ads and 1-800 numbers. They may be great. I don't know who they're referring you to. That's a lead generation commercial. They're going to hand you off to whoever. I'm sending you to Perry. I know Perry. This man knows more about this than anybody in the country. And he lives right here with us in Birmingham. 205-TAX, 205tax.com. Or the phone number is 872-1100 if you want to call him. Axiom Tax Resolution Group. Let me get to this this doctor death story before I get any further. And I hope it's not paywalled. I had it all pulled up. But here's the way let me just pull the headline back up. I started seeing this the other day. There was a guy who was a UFO specialist for the government out in, I think, New Mexico, a former general, I believe in the Air Force, and he wandered off somewhere in the desert, and they have not seen him since. Now, the first story I saw about this said, it might be dementia related, so I didn't pay any more attention to it. But the Mail UK has an exclusive story, which again is paywalled, and they have all the details walled off, and I ain't gonna pay for it. But they're talking about another official tied to our UFO program and some of our national scientific secrets has also disappeared. They got another name. They got another case. And then they go to 6 other, they've gone back and done their homework. I guess in any other time, these cases might have remained anonymous. And apparently these 6 other cases, in addition to these 2, I think that's 8 total. There have also been mysterious deaths and disappearances in the sort of UFO government scientific community. AJ, is this a coincidence? Is this a pattern? Does this connect to the story we had the other day that our government has registered something called aliens.com?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Or .gov.
Yeah.
And Steven Spielberg's coming out with a movie centered around this theme. It's something like Revelation Day where they tell us all for real. Like, dude, here he is, E.T. He doesn't nothing like that cute little thing from the 80s.
No. I mean, look, it is kind of it's definitely a conspiracy theory of these missing researchers, because I'm like they're researching things of the unknown, and then now they're unknown if they're still alive or around, or maybe they got beamed up somewhere. I don't know. Maybe they did phone home. Maybe they were the aliens, and they're like, oh, this is getting too crazy. My immigration papers done caught up, and I need to go back to my home planet. I think that's what it is.
What I also want to know is, how is Erica Kirk involved in these mysterious deaths? That'll get brought in somehow. Have you seen this comedian that dressed up like he's a black guy?
Drewski.
But I don't know anything.
That's his
about
name.
Him. What does he sing, or is he a comedian?
No, he's just a comedian.
Okay, well, he dressed up like Erica Kirk, and it's pissing all the people off.
It is.
I got to say, it was funny because I love good parody.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he looked a lot like Erica Kirk.
Yeah, with the mannerisms and all that stuff.
He got that down.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the Saturday Night Live era where everybody got mocked.
Yeah.
And you had black guys doing whiteface and white guys doing blackface, and everybody was so damn jumpy about it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This isn't the first time he's done that. He's done he played like a redneck during Alabama football games.
I think I saw a clip on that after.
What's
his name? Drewski?
Drewski.
Is he funny?
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Everybody's got to ease up. Everybody was just throwing I think the double standard, if somebody dressed up like Whoopi Goldberg and went and got in a fight at a Waffle House, I don't know why I even made that example, but I'm trying to think of Oprah. They dress up like Oprah keeps changing shape. Nobody can dress like Oprah anymore.
I mean, if someone did that, I mean, we'll be saying the same thing.
They'd
Like,
say
hey, it's
they'd
just
say it was
comedy.
blackface and
Yeah,
their
just
career
like-
would be ruined.
Man, just laugh at it. But I mean, I think it's because he did a thing where he mocked pastors, who was those preachers that's
Those prosperity people.
He made fun of them.
There's some guy online that mocks the modern praise and worship churches. Like he's a church consultant.
Right.
He's hilarious. He goes through and complains about the video screen's not big enough. People weren't getting greeted at the door, and I'm like, that's my church. You call these snacks?
Yeah.
Snacks in the green room. Like everything's got to be right. It's like a backstage producer type. It's pretty funny. We gotta laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't be so dang sensitive about everything. It's like it's a sensitivity contest right now. If your side gets lampooned and you start crying, it's not fair. Just lampoon the other side.
Exactly.
Do it with humor.
Yeah.
It's how we used to we took a lot of tension out of situations in our country by laughing at it. So I saw who's the guy, Vince Vaughn, on somebody's podcast, agreeing with a lot of us about why the late night comics aren't funny anymore. He's like, nobody wants to come home at night and get a lecture from these people. They chose a political side and now they're sanctimonious and they're just not funny. As an example, I don't know if we have the bite pulled up. We only got like 3 minutes. But last night, Jimmy Kimmel was trying to make fun of Markwayne Mullen, the new Homeland Security Director. He's like, oh, great, because apparently Mullen's background is in home services. And he goes, we got a plumber head of Homeland Security. And his little clapping seals in his audience of 100 people, which is probably all that's watching him by now, just, it's not even funny. And it's elitist and arrogant just to take a political shot at a guy who is well respected. And by the way, this dude took some heating and air skills. Not only can he fight, he turned it into a multi-million-dollar company with hundreds of employees doing heating and air conditioning, I guess, and plumbing. I mean, I'm not saying it's a Douglas Cooling and Heating or anything, but
Now, my question is, is Markwayne, is he going to be on one of the cards for this UFC fight at the White House?
he should do it. Is he getting too old now? When's the last time he fought?
He almost fought that Union guy.
I heard, that little poon that they kicked out of the speaker's job, Kevin, what was his name? From
McCarthy.
California. Yeah, I heard him today trying to get in on this conversation about Mark Wayne. I was driving my truck listening to this, and I heard him say, Mark Wayne used to give me boxing lessons in the house gym. I'm like, oh, God, I'd pay to see that. That little poontard with some boxing gloves on, trying to hit a punching bag.
Those gloves are too heavy.
Kevin McCarthy trying to punch a punching bag.
Yeah. Couldn't they lift those 2-pound gloves?
Yeah. Can I do it without the gloves? They're heavy.
And can I not hit this punching bag because it's kind of messing up my cuticles?
Can you put a picture? What was that guy that took him down from down in Florida? I can't even remember his name anymore. Gates. Can you put a picture of Matt Gates on there so I can punch it real hard? Is Adam Schiff anywhere? Let him practice with us. We're having boxing practice. I don't even know where the show went just now. I just needed a mental break, so we did that. All right, top of the hour. Let's do this thing. Leland Live. Here we go.